Back from the dead.
Ladies and gentlemen, the countdown has just begun. Are you ready? Let's go.
Now we're back from the dead.
I feel like sometimes when I'm looking at myself, like in the monitor, that this setup looks like some like twist on like Tales from the Crypt, like some weird chat. I don't know. I'm waiting for that weird little guy to just like pop out of nowhere. Hey guys, what is up? Long time no chat. I had my little break and I feel refreshed and rejuvenated and I'm excited to be back. I know tons of you guys had actually like those two last videos I posted being at Zach's museum were like huge hits. Like everybody went crazy over them, but a lot of people have a ton of questions. So I think that next week I'm going to do a Q&A and like compile everybody's questions and I will answer them. So if you had any questions from Zach's museum when I was there, leave them below on this video. I know that you guys love my Ghost Adventures reviews, but sometimes I like to break it up a little bit and you know, I know that you guys really like my personal stories too. So today is going to be a personal story. Unfortunately, you know, I was on break because it was Thanksgiving, obviously Thanksgiving in the United States. So that's time really that we just spend with family because I know I have a lot of followers from overseas. And the people that work with me, of course, I want to give them, you know, their time off to go hang out with their family or whatever. But it was like the minute that I went on break, I lost two people in my life, and they were two pretty important people in my life. The first person I lost was a person named Sam, and he was a extremely close family friend. Like, honestly, he was more like a brother, and he had suffered from cystic fibrosis for many years, and sadly, he lost his battle. And then I actually lost my stepmom a few days later. It was really shocking. She's been sick for a couple years with cancer. She's fought several cancers, and she'd been fighting again. I'm gonna do a vlog about that later, but I need time to heal with that with my dad, so we're not going to talk about that today. But I am going to talk to you about someone that was a huge impact influence on not only who I am as a person today, but also my paranormal field, which was Sam. So we have to throw this back just a little bit. Actually, a lot of bit. So I had known Sam since I was 3 years old. So I've known him my whole life. Sam was a little bit older than me by a couple of years. Sam and I met in preschool. He was my preschool friend. You know, I was really like the social butterfly of my preschool, and so I was friends with everyone. But Sam had a crush on me, and we were little, like 3 and 5. And so Sam started telling everyone that I was his wife and he was my husband. And I mean, a lot of kids do that when they're little, right? And so Sam and I found that we had this kind of playhouse at our school, and we played house together. And he would flounce around in this giant, like, man's tuxedo coat that was, like, obviously way too big for him. And I would wear like adult women's shoes, like high heels with like an adult women's purse. Like we're this itty bitty 3 and 5 year olds playing house. So Sam and I were really like best friends more than anything. We weren't dating, obviously, like you can't do that when you're that little. But we were best friends, and our parents knew that we loved each other, and we were at Chuck E. Cheese constantly, and like all of our birthdays, we never missed birthdays. There had gotten a point with Sam where we got a little bit older, and his mom had told us that they were leaving Colorado and they were moving to Missouri. They were moving there because of the humidity. Sam was born with cystic fibrosis, which basically you get sick a lot with cystic fibrosis. It's a disease that you're born with that causes mucus to just constantly fill up with your lungs. So if you're around anyone sick, you're obviously going to get it. You're in the hospital a lot, you're on oxygen, you're on medications. But Sam was a fighter, and even when we were kids, like I didn't realize he had anything wrong with him. I didn't know that when we weren't playing, he was at home doing like 2 or 3 treatments a day, being on kind of like a ventilating machine that would help him breathe. I never saw him as any different. I never saw him as anything different. Trying not to get choked up here. I'm gonna try my hardest. My mom did not tell me that the life expectancy for someone with CF, cystic fibrosis, was about 13 at that time. She didn't want me to get upset, when he moved, and she didn't want me to get upset if something happened to him. So when we turned about 10, Sam and I kind of lost contact. My mom wasn't really sure how to handle that, with a child. At the time that I had lost contact with Sam, I didn't realize that his cystic fibrosis had gotten a little bit worse. And his cystic fibrosis kind of derailed him from our friendship in a way that he had to focus on his health instead of our friendship. Pretty soon the internet picked up, obviously, and MySpace came out and Facebook, and I had reconnected with him on Facebook, and he was like great. Like, we were in our teens, and we picked up kind of where we left off, just really best friends. So Sam was telling me once again his life expectancy was maybe 19 or 20, and he would get to like 19 and 20. We were 19 and 20, and he'd be like, oh, my life expectancy now is like 25. And he got to 25, and like his life expectancy kept growing, and he was doing amazing. Even though now he had lived in a different state, we were making sure we were hanging out like once a year. One of us would go there, or he would come here, and we were always making sure to be involved in each other's lives. We didn't want to lose any more time, since we had lost that little bit of time as kids. So 2011 rolled around, and I had told Sam I'm going to be on Paranormal Challenge, and he's like, oh my God, like, this is amazing. Like, he was more excited, I feel like, than I was. Like, he was just such... One thing I would love to pass on to you guys, like, the way Sam lived, because, he didn't know if tomorrow would be his last day. He literally lived the saying, live every day like it's your last. Like, he literally did that. Like, every single day he made life an adventure, and he was just an amazing person that I got to learn from. So I'm on Paranormal Challenge, and then I got all these interviews, and I was on TV, and I was on E! Entertainment, and I was on The Soup, and like, I'm on all this stuff, and Sam's like, oh my God, like, this is so giant, like, he's like, this is so cool. He's like, do you realize, like, you have the power to make change, like, a big change here on Earth? And I was like, wow, you're being, like, super, like, philosophical. Sam and I always had these jokes. I always told him that if there was a real life philosopher on the planet, like, not Plato's and Socrates and all that stuff, but actual now, it was Sam. Like, he was a deep thinker and critically thinking, and he loved to, like, negotiate, like, really deep thoughts about, like, the afterlife. And sometimes we would, like, talk about conspiracy theories and, like, probably a little too much, and like spin off into oblivion, because it was just fun. Like, he was one of the rare people on this planet that like really got me. Sorry guys, just one second. Sam was like, I want to be a part of this journey. Like, how can I be a part of this journey with you? And I was like, well, are you coming out this summer still? And he was like, yeah. And so we were chatting, and this event came up that I had been invited to be kind of a part of, which was called Feel the Energy event. And it was at the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park. And I was like, well, there's going to be this like really big event where there's a lot, like, Billy from Ghost Adventures was there. No one else from Ghost Adventures. Dave Schrader, oh my goodness, the Booth Brothers, Keith Age, the Constantinos, let's see what else, and Aaron Sagers. There was a bunch of other ones. I can't even remember everyone that was there. So I was like, so I get to go to this big event, so if you want to come out with me, you're more than welcome. And he was like, yeah, absolutely, I want to come out. So now in the meantime, I had befriended Callie from the Stanley, and Callie was like, the Booth Brothers are coming in town, who are a twin brothers that are basically producers and filmmakers from the UK, and they're going to be doing like a little documentary on the Stanley Hotel while they're there, but they need a camera tech. One of my other friends at the time was in film school, and so I volunteered him to go with us to be the camera tech for the Booth Brothers. So my friend Sam and I head up to go to Estes Park. It was like Sam's first taste at understanding, the paranormal world in which we live in. So we're driving up to Estes Park, and I told Sam, I said, you're kind of a skeptic. So what's your take on, ghosts or like energies? And Sam was like, I've never had an experience, But that doesn't mean I'm not open to an experience. But he was like, it needs to be something really predominant and infinite so that I am absolutely certain it was a ghost. I was like, well, the Stanley Hotel is the place to do it then, because those energies are fairly friendly, I say, and you know, they'll definitely let you know that they're there. And he was like, good, great, can't wait to have this experience. I'll let you know when it happens. So we get there, and I had actually had to go pick up the Constantinos from the airport. Dave Schrader had sent me to go pick up the Constantinos. So that was when I got to really get to know Deb and Mark. I spent like over 4 hours in the car with them, which was very fun and adventurous, I'll say that. I know I did a video about Mark and Deb, and I know that what happened to them was super tragic, but I'm going to say that they did fight publicly in front of the paranormal community or the celebrity community, but we all kind of understood who they were and where they were coming from. Like, it's a typical married couple that fought, but there was really never any idea that there was like domestic issues going on. And when I got to know both of them, they were wonderful to me. And so I can't talk badly about either of them because my experience with them was wonderful. Debbie had a big passion for like rescuing animals and dogs, so she was always talking to me about her animal rescues and stuff like that. So after I got back, I had my one friend was out filming with the Booth brothers, and I was walking into a room. You know, we had this suite that we all kind of split. And Sam was sitting on the couch, and he'd been by himself for a few hours, obviously, and he was like super pale. And I was like, what's wrong? You know, are you okay? Like, is the altitude getting you, you know? He was like, no. All I'm gonna say is that ghosts exist. Like, that's all he would say to me. And I was like, what does that mean? Like, do you have a story you want to share with me? No. But all I'm gonna say is what happened to me was infinite, and you're right, ghosts exist, and it's not without a doubt that they exist. And I was like, oh man, like, I don't even know what happened. And honestly, I can say that Sam took that to his grave. He never shared with me what happened at the Stanley Hotel while he was alone in our suite, but obviously it was something enough to make him be a believer of the afterlife. In fact, I have to say, like, before this happened, whatever happened, I don't know, Sam didn't really know if he believed in anything, so he was like on the edge of like atheist and agnostic. Like, he didn't know if he believed, and he didn't know if anything existed. And then after he had this experience, he kind of became semi-religious and like had the utmost faith in like the other side. Like, it was kind of a beautiful thing to see like happen, like blossom. So now I had never met the Booth brothers, and I had never met Keith Age. Keith Age was a previous country western singer that turned to a filmmaker in paranormal. Keith Age and the Booth brothers had several series that they sold to Chiller, the network Chiller, which is a kind of B network to Sci-Fi, so it's a little bit under Sci-Fi. I had never met them, but I didn't have the best impression of the Booth brothers just because of the previous work that they had done. The Booth brothers had done a series in London or UK somewhere where they had basically taken a handful of girls, females, and in their 20s, and they dressed them in lingerie, and they made them ghost hunt in their lingerie in night vision with like ghost gear. And I just really thought that was like gritty. I thought, do you really think that that's the best way you can sell a female in paranormal, is by putting them in their underwear in night vision, wearing barely nothing with ghost gear? That's how you think you can sell females in the paranormal? So I didn't really have the best first impression of them, because obviously that was how they felt about women in the industry. It spoke for itself, right? They worked with a guy named Keith Age, who was kind of their camera tech / producer. Keith Age was very misogynistic when I met him. Now, take in mind, this was like 2013, so people can change. Like, I'll give people the benefit of the doubt. But for the time being that I met them at this Feel the Energy event with the Booth brothers and Keith Age, they were very misogynistic. They didn't believe females and women belonged not only in film but in paranormal. And they treated me probably poorly than anyone else in the industry other than, you know, a couple of executive producers that I've dealt with. So my friend that was filming for the Booth brothers had never filmed a ghost hunt. He had never filmed documentary style. He had never filmed anything, you know, in our genre of paranormal. So he was constantly coming to me asking for advice and help. I was giving him the best advice that I could. Like, I was trying to help him from afar, but the Booth brothers and Keith Age didn't want me on set. They didn't want me helping at all. They only wanted my friend to be there because he was a male camera tech. So it was already a misogynistic issue that was happening. I kind of started to get frustrated because I told my friend, you shouldn't have taken this job if you didn't know how to film documentary style, you know, documentaries or episodes, whatever they were filming, I'm not sure. And you shouldn't have taken on a position like a ghost hunt if you don't know how to film it. But I tried to help him get through it. Or at the Feel the Energy event that weekend, unfortunately ended our friendship because I was just like so frustrated with him. We had a clash basically after this event because he was trying to take on the misogynistic attitude that the Booth brothers and Keith Age had taught him. Now, in the meantime, I was really frustrated because I didn't really go up there to be with the Booth brothers and Keith Age. I was there because Billy was DJing. Like, I get to say I was at a party where Billy DJ'd, which was freaking amazing, might I add. In fact, I got to go on stage with Billy for a little bit, which was so cool. And I was obviously friends with Dave Schrader, and I knew Aaron Sagers and a couple other people that were there. So I was there to mingle with my friends, and I was constantly getting torn from my friends to go help my other friend who was filming that didn't know what he was doing. So it was frustrating and it ended our friendship, unfortunately. But in the meantime, Sam is witnessing all of this. Now, take in mind, Sam is this like super philosopher who's like witnessing all of this stuff and like taking it all in like a sponge, you know? And Sam's like, they're treating you like crap because you're a girl, like the Booth brothers and Keith Age. He's like, they're treating you like crap. Why are you letting them treat you like crap? Now, at this point, I was like naive Krystal, and I was still just breaking into the industry, and I was like, I deal with this all the time. It's not a big deal. It's just, and he's like, no, it's a big deal. Sam was like, do you realize this is your calling? This is why you're in this. You're a girl in a male-dominated industry. You are here to break through not only yourself, but other girls across the world. You have found what your purpose on this life path is. And I was like, whoa, oh God, here goes his like philosophy ideas, and like he's gonna spin off. And I was like, no, it's not a big deal, it's just the way it is. And he's like, no, you're not understanding. He was like, you know more than your friend that was hired for the camera tech position, and they won't hire you because you're a girl. So he has to come back here and keep asking you information and how to do it when you already know, and they could have hired you, but they won't just because you're a girl. And I was like, yeah, it happens every day. Like, you know, I'm like, oh, well, not a big deal. He's like, you're not getting, like, you have a bigger purpose in this. You're not seeing this. And so I really have to thank Sam, since he's one of my guardian angels now, that he is the reason that I'm still here. He was like, when people knock you down, whether it's personal, they don't like your eyeliner, they don't like your lipstick, they don't like, oh, don't be Wednesday Addams, be Barbie. They don't like it that you're a girl in paranormal. They don't like it that you know your filming equipment. They don't like it that you know physics. They knock you down twice, you get up 3. That's what Sam would say. And so every time I get knocked down by some mean YouTube comment, someone mean on social media, an executive producer, someone on the street, the people at my film school, I always remember, get knocked down twice, get up 3. Always remember it. Sam is the one that put that in my head. So that weekend was a huge weekend because he saw what I experienced firsthand being a girl in the industry. And Sam was like, don't you freaking stand for it. He's like, just because your gender has nothing to do with this. He's like, you know more than most of these schmucks here. Like, he was so mad about it. He was so passionate about it because he was really a firm believer in follow your dreams. You don't have a long time on this planet. So for the time that you're here, be happy, follow your dreams, do what you want to do. And I mean, he did. He did everything he wanted to do. He traveled. He got his master's degree. He was supposed to die at 13 and he lived an entire life. He was told he couldn't have kids. He had a child. Like, he did some great things on this planet. And I wish he wouldn't have had to go so soon But, you know, he was really an inspiration for who Ghost Girl is today. He was a big inspiration for it. Before anyone calls me out for having a vendetta against Keith Age and the Booth brothers, I have nothing against them. I have no issues with them personally. At the time I dealt with them, I actually went to a breakfast with them with my friend that was, you know, shooting as their camera tech, and Sam. We all went to breakfast with them like the last day. And they had said so many nasty, misogynistic things about a girl being in paranormal. Like, I think Keith Age is the one that said that there's no place for women in paranormal. There's no place for girls in paranormal. You know, just move on, sweetheart, like stuff like that. And Sam was becoming enraged at the breakfast table. We were at this really nice, fancy restaurant in the Stanley Hotel, and Sam was like, the only reason I didn't blow up was because we were at a nice restaurant, you know? So Sam taught me, like, who cares if you're a girl? Whoever has an issue with gender, that's their problem, not yours. And so Sam was really the big inspiration behind what Ghost Girl has become. He was my longest friend, guys. He was my longest friend of my entire life. Literally have known the guy 98% of my life. And, it's really hard knowing that he's not here anymore, but I know that he had a really hard year last year. I didn't get to see him much because of my work traveling. Ghost Girl has become a big deal, obviously. He got really sick last year, and he had a double lung transplant because of his cystic fibrosis. And the lung transplant held out for like 3 years, and then he got really sick and just couldn't hold on anymore. So you know what, the one thing I'm gonna say that it is like the hardest thing to say, he was in the hospital a lot, like a lot of our life, and in pain a lot, and he hated being tied down to machines. He hated being tied down to hospital beds, you know, tied down meaning like he has to do his breathing treatments and stuff. So knowing that he is free now and he's not in pain anymore and he doesn't have to spend another day in the hospital, like, man, that guy was like a fighter. And like, I know right now, like on the other side, he is like living his new life like fully, like to a full extent. Sadly, he does leave behind a little 2-year-old girl, which is very, very sad. But of course, I'm going to, you know, try to help be a part of her life in any way that I can. And Sam, if you're listening somewhere, words cannot even express how grateful I am for you being a part of my life. And I know that it was our entire life and that wasn't enough for me, but I know I'll see you again someday. But I am so grateful that you got to be a part of my life and you taught me all of the lessons that you did. My life would not be the same without you. You have helped me be the person that I am today. And I know that at some point you'll probably visit me and probably scare me to show yourself to prove that the other side exists, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. Some people go a lifetime without having the friendship that I had with Sam, and as selfish as it is, I am so glad that I got to spend the time with him that I did, and that I got to have the friendship that with him that I did. But I'll tell you what, knowing Sam, he's definitely on the other side causing trouble, because he never ever stopped. Like, that guy was like a tank. Doctors would be like, you're sick, you can't go. Nope, I'm going. I don't care. I don't have much time left. I'm doing this. He did not let a disability or anything wrong with him ever stop him from following his dreams or do anything that he wanted to do. He had to spend so much time in the hospital just so that he could live another day to go on another trip or travel or plan or get an education. He didn't care. Nothing was going to stop him. So if there's anything I can pass on from him, it is live every day like it's your last. Use your voice because you have one for a reason. And if there's something that you truly love and want, whether it's travel, a family, a job, a future, a dream, never give up, because you'll get it. If you fight enough for it and you show the universe you want it, you will get it. Sam got everything he wanted in this lifetime and more. And I'm gonna miss that guy. Make sure you guys give my video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Make sure you guys follow me on social media, and I will catch you guys next time.
Hell yeah.
We're back from the dead. Back from the dead. Back from the dead.